We are back with more IGN Live at E3. Now, you might think being a modern-day human is stressful since you have to work a job, pay bills, still find time for video games, but the upcoming game, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey, is here to show you that life was stressful long before any of those things. Here to teach us how to survive the ancient world is IGN's Max Scoville and Panache Games' Patrice Désilets. What's up, guys?
How are you?
Hey,
Yeah.
Patrice, you've been making games set in ancient history for ages, and now you're going really far back.
Oh yeah, and I'm going at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So then, after that, I'll be done. I guess there'll be no more
Yeah, what-
historical thing. That's not true. But yeah. I've been doing games for the last 24 years now, and it's been 10 years since I shipped the game. So I'm really happy to be back at E3 with something that is real and it's about to ship.
Well, as we were just saying at the top of the show, you've shipped some really great games that we love, like Assassin's Creed 2, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. So really excited to see what you're doing with Ancestors. At E3, we see a lot of like gritty shooters, a lot of fantasy games. We don't see mini games that look like this.
No, it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
So the game, it's a third-person open-world game set in Africa,
Yeah.
10 million years ago. All right, and you play the last common ancestors of all the big apes. But you don't play only one character. That's the thing. You play as a clan. So here, what we're seeing is a baby being born, because you eventually need baby. You need to expand your clan. Each clan member you can switch from, right? So you can play as a baby. You can play as an adult. You can play as an elder, and you have to survive Africa, 10 million years ago. An Africa that wants you dead, basically. And it's a game about being a prey at the beginning and transform yourself into a predator towards the end. And I wanted to tell the story of the very beginning of why we're here, us mutants, like you said in your intro,
Yeah.
you know, being stressed about stuff that are pretty mundane if you think about it, if you compare it to being chased by leopards, right?
Yeah.
As a lunch.
Puts things in perspective.
Exactly. And that's the idea came from starting up a studio, Panache Digital Games, and that I knew I needed a first game, right? And when you do third person, the thing you must build is a character that interacts with a 3D environment.
Sure.
That is why we build AC1 with Altair, and then we had AC2 that is for some people better because we knew and we had our character, and so I knew I needed the same thing. And so I said, but I cannot build with my team of 35 people, Rome, Jerusalem, right, technology, crowd. So I say,
What's the saying? Rome wasn't built with a team of 35 people?
no, we were a little bit more than that. Let's say we were more around 1,000. But so I said, but if I go into prehistorical time, it will be easier, right?
And was it?
Well, I was a bit naive, let's put it that way, because then it's an organic world. That's also is unique at E3 and in the game, and that's all there is. There is a jungle once you're dead. Yeah, there's a savanna, and basically also what's unique about it is that it's not about what I designed and what I wrote with my team. It's about your experience. So the science of human evolution is set in the game world, but then it's up to you. Because I'm asking that question, guys. Hey, Homo sapiens, you think you're intelligent? Can you survive like our ancestors did? Because they did. Because we're here on a live show, right?
I don't know how we got here from climbing in trees, you know.
But this is what happened. But you may learn because it's in the game that like we walked on two legs in trees, and eventually the trees disappeared, and then so we were able to survive the rest. But there was no more trees, and we're still walking on two legs.
Now, there's something you showed off a minute ago I really like is that it's the skill tree.
Yeah.
Speaking of trees,
Yeah.
and it's funny because we're so used to sort of video games having these, you know, your character unlocks these skills and these abilities, and oftentimes you're like, well, if I'm like a badass space marine, why didn't I know how to do that in the first place?
Yeah.
Why is it like a new ability to hold a second thing? But in this case, you're like actually evolving. You're like you're very, you know, you're an early primate. Like
Yeah.
you're learning how to do basic skills.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how sort of these evolving skills come into play?
Well, first it depends on how you play, because we're kind of like monitoring what you do, and say, oh, you're more into this, so your neuronal system, this is the skill tree, it's in your brain, it will evolve in a certain way. So if you're more into observing stuff through the sense ability or the intelligence ability, neuronal system will have like picked on it, and this is where you can actually grow your observation. If you're more into hunting or crafting or communicating, it really depends on how you play, and then eventually you need to evolve into a different species, and that will grow your skill tree. And so there's some mission also about evolution. And again, we're just like, we're not imposing you missions. They're there. And it depends on you. And you can totally lose yourself and not be doing stuff that is useful. You can write your own stories. Because it wasn't about me wanting you to do what science is telling us that happened, by the way. Like, it's really, you can be faster than science if you think about it. I want players to be involved. I want them to be curious and try and say, what's on the other side of the hill? And not because a mission giver told me to go.
Sure.
Now, you mentioned predators earlier,
Yeah.
and we just saw one of our heroes, fighting a gigantic centipede.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, I fought my fair share of gigantic centipedes in video games. Is that historically accurate? Were centipedes that big?
I don't know. Nobody was there. It's the beauty of it. No, but it is the beauty of the subject matter at the end of the day. It's called prehistoric because it's before books. History starts when we start to write. Before that, it's some people find stuff on the ground, right, in dirt. And then say, and then science, forensic, and then we start to know a little bit more. But even paleoanthropologists, they sometimes they have to fill the gap, because it doesn't make sense, and they start to invent some stories. And while I was studying the subject matter, they discovered stuff. So I thought like tool making was like 800,000 years ago, and then they realized that somewhere in Africa they found some tools, and then maybe now it's 3.5 million years ago. So I said, okay, all that knowledge, let's put it in the game world, player will discover it. And then maybe it's just that we never actually found remains of a giant centipede.
And at the end of the
Right?
day, you're making a video game. You're making a
Exactly,
yeah.
because after my research, that was the first 2 years or so, I said, okay, let's forget about research. It's a game I'm making. I want people to be in Africa and believe it. That's what's the most important part of it. It's believing in the game world, and sometimes let's be a little bit Hollywood.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the goal is to evolve our tribe. Actually, are we going to be evolving into another species?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's multiple species
Right.
of hominid.
Right. And is
It's not about it's not spore. It's not about like
Gotcha.
suddenly I'll have like 5 legs
Yeah.
and laser from my eyes. That's not the idea. That's like it's really going through human evolution and tell the
Right.
story of. And this is before us. It's all the species that were there before us. Ardipithecus ramidus, and Lucy is the most famous one.
Sure.
The one, and you know how she died? Just falling down a tree.
Oh God.
That's how she died.
that
at the
happened
end.
fairly often back then?
That's so sad.
And it will happen to you in
Yeah.
the game, by the way.
Yeah. No, there is fall damage.
Oh yeah, there is, and you get what I like also about the game is that it's an adventure game that player skills are important. You get better at it, and you can have your own style. It's a bit like playing FIFA, all right? No, everybody can play FIFA, but there's guys and girls that are really good at playing FIFA. We have the same thing. Like when I play, people like to watch me play because I'm the best player of ancestors on the planet right now, in the universe even.
Well, I would look like a Neanderthal playing FIFA, for sure. But is the evolution in this game, is it seamless, or is it like broken up into chapters?
I know it's seamless, man.
Okay.
You load once at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
And then there is a menu where you say, okay, I want to evolve, and then we're checking what you've done, and depending on how fast and how good you were, you will say, no, not enough.
Not ready to evolve yet.
But and then you go into a different species, different location in the game world, and you'll have new abilities that will unlock because your brain got bigger, and so you'll be able to do more.
Now you mentioned the world changing and going from the trees down to the ground because the trees are disappearing. How much does the world sort of change around
No.
you? Is there weather?
Yeah. The world doesn't change. I need to say that. That game is made by 35 people.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
Okay, no, but it's important. It's an indie game with
Yeah.
the crazy scope because I'm crazy guy. But roughly, it's true. And I'm so proud of what they've done.
Yeah.
Really, it's like
That's-
it
yeah.
look, and it's one load, and then but you'll go a different flora and fauna, and because the game is vast, and eventually, if you want to evolve, you need to explore enough, and you'll be in a savanna. You'll be in a place where there's less trees, and so if you've developed the walking on 2 legs, it'll be easier for you, but you don't have to. I don't care. It's your game. It's your experiences. It's not mine.
Well,
That's why I still love playing my game, because each night I play, I can go and write a new story.
well, I can't wait to start writing my own stories in Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. It looks amazing. It really stands out among all the other games here at E3.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming by the
Thank
IGN
you.
stage.
August 27,
August
Epic Game
27.
Store, PS4 and Xbox One in December.
Very cool.
Ancestor.com, game, whatever.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but stick around because we've got Oddworld Soulstorm coming up next. More IGN Live at E3 2019 when we come back.